Angel Reese says, an Angel's dream. Of course, she's not going to miss Chicago because she hates her teammates. We all know that. We found that out last year when she drowned them all like baby kittens in a tote sack viciously when she drowned her teammates last year. And I'm sorry for the visual, but I'm just keeping it real. So trade summary per Annie Constable. Atlanta Dream get Angel Reese and a 2028 second-round pick swap.
Atlanta expected that bringing in Angel Reese would generate a strong boost in attention and merchandise sales, but early reactions have been more mixed than anticipated. Instead of an immediate surge, fan response online has been divided, with some excitement about the move and others more cautious or critical about how the fit will work. This kind of reaction isn't unusual when a high-profile player joins a new team, especially one as polarizing and closely followed as Reese. Fan engagement often builds over time, and early impressions can shift quickly once games begin and on-court chemistry starts to develop. The key question now is how she performs once the season starts and how she integrates into Atlanta's system. In most cases, actual game impact tends to reshape narratives far more than preseason reactions or social media debate. For the Dream, this move is still about long-term fit and development rather than instant results, and the real evaluation will come once the team starts competing together on the floor.
Angel Reese in the headlines, the main story in the headlines for the first time since she was following a certain somebody around doing the John Cena can't see me. It's taken 3 years, but finally, Angel, you have returned. Angel Reese traded from the Chicago Sky to the Atlanta Dream. And the reaction has been nothing short of hysterical.
The Atlanta Dream believed they were making a major headline move, but the online reaction quickly became more divided than expected. When Angel Reese's arrival was announced, the conversation on social media split almost immediately, with some fans showing excitement and others expressing skepticism about the direction of the decision. Instead of an immediate wave of unified enthusiasm, the response turned into a mix of debate, opinions, and strong reactions from different fan groups. Merchandise and engagement talk became part of that broader discussion, reflecting how polarizing high-profile roster moves can be in today's WNBA landscape. As with most major signings, the real picture will only become clearer once the season begins and Reese takes the court in Atlanta colors. On-court performance and team chemistry will ultimately shape how the move is judged over time, beyond the initial social media reaction.
2027 first-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick. You gave up 2 first-round picks for Angel Reese? What? Okay. Okay. I guarantee you, some people will actually believe in their own little minds that Chicago got fleeced. Yeah.
That is what makes the situation so intriguing, because on paper, none of it really makes sense. Atlanta did not bring in an unproven rookie still trying to find her place on the court. They added one of the most recognizable names in women's basketball, a 2-time WNBA All-Star at just 23 years old. This is a player who has already built a strong presence in the league, someone whose name alone typically drives headlines, sparks debates, and keeps cameras locked on her every move.
I cannot believe ESPN pays for this type of analysis. Angel Reese is the biggest star in basketball? The same Angel Reese who just hosted a Barbie event in Miami last weekend where no one showed up. Angel Reese isn't even the biggest star in pretend basketball. She is getting outshined in a league where outside of Caitlin Clark, there are no stars. And you expect me to believe Angel Reese is the biggest star in basketball?
Reese came over from the Chicago Sky with strong production, averaging over 14 points and nearly 13 rebounds per game across her first 2 seasons, before Chicago traded her to Atlanta in exchange for 2 future first-round picks in 2027 and 2028.
The fact of the matter is she got traded for almost nothing. The specifics of the trade were that she got traded for a first-round pick in 2027 and a first-round pick in 2028, along with a pick swap that Atlanta gets. So what does that mean? That means specifically that Angel Reese essentially got traded for probably the 12th, 13th, 14th, or maybe 15th pick in the WNBA draft.
Normally, an acquisition like this sends merchandise sales rising quickly. Fans often rush to team stores and online shops, and new jerseys typically become an early indicator of excitement and expectation around a roster move. In most cases, a high-profile addition leads to increased attention, stronger ticket interest, and a clear boost in overall engagement. Instead, Atlanta has seen a more mixed response. Reactions online have included both interest in how Reese will fit into the team and skepticism about the timing and cost of the move. Some fans have questioned the trade value, while others are simply waiting to see how the on-court chemistry develops before fully buying IN. At IN Sports, jersey sales and merchandise trends often reflect early sentiment rather than long-term outcomes. They can shift quickly once a season begins and performances start to define the narrative more than speculation does. For Atlanta, the real focus now moves to basketball, how Reese integrates into the system, how the roster adjusts, and whether the team can translate this move into improved results once the games begin.
Already selling the Angel Reese jerseys. They had a feeling they weren't going to be moving too fast, so you know what they did? They put them on sale. Oh, that's right, folks.
There were even reactions suggesting that Reese's public profile sometimes overshadows her on-court production, which in sports terms reflects how quickly narratives can grow around high-visibility athletes. On social media, the discussion became louder than usual, with opinions split between those focused on her basketball impact and those focused on the broader conversation around her presence in the league. The reaction wasn't purely about fit or roster construction. It was also about perception. Reese is one of the most recognizable young players in the WNBA, and with that level of visibility comes constant discussion, both positive and critical. That naturally amplifies every move involving her, especially a high-profile trade like Atlanta's decision to bring her in from a franchise standpoint. Teams often make these kinds of moves with multiple goals in mind: improving performance, increasing attention, and strengthening long-term marketability. Reese clearly brings attention wherever she goes, and that kind of profile can raise a team's visibility significantly. At the same time, early reactions don't always reflect how things will look once the season begins. Much of this conversation will ultimately be shaped by performance, chemistry, and how the team functions once Reese is fully integrated into Atlanta's system.
We now know she is not a franchise player for any team. Oh, but you got some mad. Oh, if y'all franchise. Whoa, they're mad, boy. They are mad. I'm loving this. I am loving it. Boy, Jeff, F you. Man, the crash out. Thank you for the crash out. Yeah, never seen a franchise tank like this. Oh, this is wild. F Jeff, we free. I wonder how y'all gonna get in the seats now. Y'all wasn't selling out in Chicago with Angel Reese. What the hell are you talking about? How big is that place down there?
And over in Chicago, the mood was noticeably different. Rather than immediate excitement or frustration, there was a sense of reset, like a team shifting into a new direction after 2 uneven seasons that didn't fully meet expectations. Chicago had talent on the roster and strong individual performances at times, but the consistency needed to turn that into playoff success just didn't come together, including a 10-24 finish last year that underscored those struggles. When the trade happened, it signaled a clear organizational decision to retool. Moves like this in professional sports usually reflect a combination of fit, timeline, and long-term planning rather than a single storyline. For Chicago, it was about restructuring around a new direction and future assets, including draft capital. Naturally, that kind of move fuels debate. Some see it as a fresh start. Others question whether moving on from a young, high-profile player so early was the right call. That's the nature of high-visibility trades. Every angle gets amplified, and every assumption gets challenged in real time. From a fan perspective, reactions can vary widely. Some supporters take time to adjust. while others immediately focus on what comes next for the roster. In most cases, those early emotional responses tend to settle once new lineups form and the season begins. Ultimately, the real evaluation of any trade comes later, once both teams have time to integrate their new pieces, establish chemistry, and let performance on the court shape the narrative instead of speculation.
What in the hell is going on here? I know ESPN pays these people to polish the turd, but no amount of toxic ass gas will hypnotize people to the point that they believe Angel Reese is the biggest star in basketball. Earlier this afternoon, the Chicago Bravado traded Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dreamers. Now, as you can see, the Dreamers are already dreaming that they landed a major star.
Fans began posting mixed reactions online about Reese joining Atlanta. Some expressed hesitation about the fit, while others said they needed to see how she performs in a dream uniform before fully supporting the move. In today's sports environment, especially with high-profile trades, it's common for early reactions to be emotional and divided before any on-court results are available. At the same time, sports history shows that public opinion can change quickly once games begin. Strong performances, consistency, and team success often reshape narratives far more than preseason discussions or social media debates. Atlanta is clearly looking at the move through a long-term lens, valuing Reese's production, competitiveness, and ability to impact games in multiple ways. From a roster-building perspective, the expectation is that chemistry and results will ultimately define how the trade is judged. In the end, early backlash or approval rarely decides how a move is remembered. What matters most is what happens once the season starts and the team has time to establish its identity on the court.
Her joke. Oh, it's a great trade for her. Bro, you don't even know what she does, man. I'm telling you, Stephen A. Smith is a BS artist. Monica McNutt is a joke. This lady said that Chicago Sky wasn't ready for her star power and her vocals. Give me a break. Stop it. Throwing your teams under the bus is not having big vocals or having star power. And if she had star power, they would have kept her on the team.
And Reese is not there to be a side attraction. She is there to become a central piece of Atlanta's long-term plans. That is why the early merchandise and fan reaction conversation matters beyond the noise of social media. It reflects initial hesitation rather than a final verdict. In most major roster moves, especially involving high-profile players, fan engagement often fluctuates before stabilizing once on-court chemistry and results begin to take shape. What makes this situation compelling is the combination of high expectations and high visibility. Angel Reese arrives in Atlanta as one of the most talked-about young players in the league, carrying both strong production history and significant public attention. That naturally creates a wide range of opinions before she even plays a game for her new team. For Atlanta, this is ultimately about fit, development, and execution within their system. The front office is clearly betting on her ability to contribute as part of a larger competitive core over time, rather than judging the move on early reactions alone. Meanwhile, Chicago's perspective is more forward-looking, focused on roster direction and building for the next phase. In situations like this, both sides typically settle into clarity once the season begins and performance replaces speculation, because in sports, narratives shift quickly. Early reactions often give way to outcomes, and once the games are played, the conversation usually changes shape around what actually happens on the court.
Angel Reese about to be so damn distracted in Atlanta. All these people that just want her to come there to turn up and do all of this and all. You thought Chicago was bad, making her concentrate, doing all the off the court shit instead of being in it. All she gonna do is be out in the ATL turning up with all these people, these terrible celebrities she gonna be having on her podcast, doing 1,000 episodes here and there with all these goofies doing ratchet turn up activity. Man, she ain't about to be concentrating on hoop.
What makes the situation even more intense is that Angel Reese is not stepping into a neutral basketball environment in Atlanta. She is entering a franchise where expectations have suddenly shifted upward, patience is limited, and every rebound, bucket, and mistake will be viewed through the lens of the reaction that followed her arrival. The Atlanta Dream did not just add a talented forward. They brought in a player with massive attention around her, and now the entire spotlight feels brighter than usual, with everything being closely watched from day one inside the organization. The logic is clear. Atlanta is betting that early noise fades once results start to come. If Reese helps turn the dream into a consistent contender, the same fans who are hesitant today could become fully invested tomorrow. But if the team struggles out of the gate, the conversation online will shift quickly, with criticism, debate, and constant analysis becoming part of the daily narrative. That is the reality of being a high-profile player in today's league. Normal ups and downs are rarely treated as just basketball. A missed shot gets replayed, a rough stretch gets discussed, and every performance starts to carry extra weight when expectations and attention are already high before the season even begins.
The bravado, 2 first-round picks in exchange for Angel Reese. Now, I have seen some on social media pointing out the fact that the Lakers only had to trade 1 first-round pick to get Luka Doncic. But in the WNBA, draft picks aren't nearly as valuable as they are in the NBA, since, there's not a lot of generational talent. To me, though, this is not about what the Atlanta Dreamers had to give up in order to acquire Angel Reese. This is more about the message that the Chicago Bravado sent by trading Angel Reese.
The reaction from parts of Atlanta's fanbase isn't just about basketball fit or roster construction. It also reflects how highly visible Reese already is as a player. She plays with confidence, embraces attention, and carries herself in a way that naturally draws strong opinions. For some fans, that energy is exciting and competitive. For others, it simply takes time to warm up to. That's part of why she's one of the more discussed young players in the league. Her presence generates conversation even before games begin. And when a player already has that level of visibility, every move, stat line, and moment gets magnified. From a basketball perspective, the focus now shifts to how she translates that profile into consistent impact in Atlanta's system. She's shown throughout her career that she can produce at a high level, rebound, and affect games in multiple ways, and that production is what ultimately defines any player's role over time. Like many athletes who enter high-expectation environments, the real story will be written on the court. Early opinions tend to settle once games begin, rotations stabilize, and the season starts to provide clearer answers than preseason debate ever can.
With these goofy fans saying, oh, this trade is great for her. Is it really great for her being traded out of the 3rd year and possibly you may not get the Supermax because your own team didn't believe in you? That's not good. That's not good at all. Being traded is never a great thing, okay? It's really not. It's not, okay? So, with that said, I think Angel Reese, we'll find out what's gonna happen, but the roster is not set yet.
That is what makes Atlanta such a fascinating stage for this next chapter. Because if Reese succeeds here, it will not just validate the trade, it will completely flip the narrative. What is being viewed now as early skepticism or uneven fan reaction could later be reinterpreted as just the beginning of a turning point for the franchise. In that scenario, the focus shifts away from noise and back to results, with wins and playoff positioning redefining how the move is remembered. But if it goes the other way, the pressure around the decision will only grow. If chemistry doesn't develop or the team struggles to find consistency, the conversation will naturally turn toward whether the move delivered on its expectations. That's the reality of high-profile trades. Outcomes always shape the final judgment more than the initial reaction ever does. Reese steps into Atlanta in a situation where expectations, scrutiny, and opportunity all exist at the same time. Chicago, meanwhile, continues its own direction with a reset roster and future-focused planning. And in the middle of all that, one thing stays constant in sports. Early narratives are never permanent. Once the season is underway, performance on the court tends to reshape every discussion far more than speculation ever can.